Hi, my name is Cheri Simonds, and I'm a professor in the School of Communication at Illinois State University. I'm also the co-director of Com 110, Communication is Critical Inquiry, which is the course that all first-year students take as part of their general education program. And so in this video, by way of introduction, I'd like to talk a little bit about what prepared me for that role. I'd like to talk about my education, my teaching, and my research. In terms of my education, I received my undergraduate degree from Oklahoma State University in speech, debate, and drama, wherein I became a high school teacher for a couple of years, and then I went on to get my master's degree at the University of North Texas in rhetoric and public address. I was interested in being a course director from my experiences in my master's program, and so from there I went to the University of Oklahoma to receive my PhD in instructional communication and communication pedagogy. And it's these two domains of research that allow me to be effective in my role as the director of Com 110. So let me distinguish between instructional communication and communication pedagogy. Instructional communication is a domain within the field of communication education that prepares all teachers the communication competencies they need to be effective in the classroom. So in thinking about that, you want to know, what do all teachers need to know about communication, regardless of the age group they teach or the subject matter they teach, in order to be competent in the classroom? Whereas communication pedagogy is what or how do you specifically teach communication effectively? So whereas one is how to use communication to teach generally, the other one is how to teach communication specifically. So that's my education. Let's talk about how that parlays into my teaching. If you are a student in one of my classes, you will experience what I call a flipped classroom, where I will ask you to read a very brief chapter, but then to think about how that chapter relates to your own personal experiences. And then you'll get an opportunity to think about that material, come up with an example of how it relates to your own experiences. And then when you get into the classroom, you have an opportunity to articulate and defend your idea and your experiences. We would also then follow that up with some kind of experiential activity. So where the content is, you are responsible for learning the content and coming to class prepared to talk about it. When you get there, then I would facilitate a discussion about that material, and then we would do an activity. And that's the kind of teaching that I do, and the kind of teacher training that I provide to my instructors in terms of teaching Com 110. So it's a very engaging and interactive experience. I am very fortunate that I get to do research on the thing that I practice every day, which is teaching and teaching training, or teacher training. And so my research is instructional communication. So what do all teachers need to know in order to be effective in the classroom? And in that regard, I study things like teacher clarity, teacher immediacy, which is those behaviors that signal approachability, availability, and warmth. And then I also study teacher credibility. More recently, I have been interested in studying what makes a student successful, and looking at special populations like first-generation students or students with special needs, or particularly in a communication classroom, students who have generalized or socialized anxiety, and getting those students accommodations in a public speaking classroom. And so that's my more recent line of research. I also do, in terms of communication pedagogy, speech evaluation training. How do we reliably and in a valid way evaluate students where an A in one class looks like an A in another? And then I also do communication assessment. So whereas our course is part of general education, anything in our course that maps and aligns to general education, like critical thinking or civic engagement, or team communication or group communication, ethical decision making, those things tap into general education, and so we conduct assessment about those things. We always want to be able to demonstrate that after taking our course, students are better able to accomplish those goals than they were at the beginning of our course, and that's how we conduct assessment in Com 110. And so to close, what I want to tell you about the faculty in the School of Communication and in Com 110 specifically, is that we care about your success. And so with that, I wish you continued success in your role as a student at Illinois State University. Bye.